here.
Iowa isn't just fields and farms, it's a graveyard of stories the dead refuse to stop telling. They say Iowa's quiet, ordinary, but beneath that calm lies something ancient, restless, and unseen. From abandoned hospitals to ghostly bridges and cursed statues, every corner of this state holds a story that still breathes through the dark. Tonight, we're unlocking the doors to the 15 most haunted places in Iowa. And once you've heard their whispers, you'll never look at the Midwest the same way again. One, Villisca Axe Murder House, Villisca. On quiet nights in Villisca, locals say you can still hear the faint creak of footsteps moving through the old Axe Murder House. Slow, deliberate, as if retracing a path carved in blood more than a century ago. Visitors step inside expecting dusty history, but most leave shaken, swearing the air changes the moment the door shuts behind them. Some feel watched, others feel followed, and a few hear children whispering their names in the dark. Suspicion always starts small, a shadow crossing a hallway where no one stands, a sudden cold spot hovering at the foot of a bed where the victims once slept, or the strange way flashlights die all at once. As if something drinks the light out of the room. The deeper you go, the heavier the silence becomes, thick, suffocating, until you sense you're no longer exploring an empty house, but trespassing through someone's unfinished nightmare. Paranormal teams report toys moving on their own, knocks answering their questions, and the sound of an axe dragging across the floorboards, whether it's trapped spirits, residual terror, or something darker echoing through time. One truth remains: the Villisca Axe Murder House does not welcome visitors. It studies them, and if you think you're brave enough to enter, ask yourself one question: what will you do if the footsteps you hear aren't yours? 32. Edinburgh Manor, Scotch Grove. They say Edinburgh Manor doesn't just feel haunted, it feels hungry. The moment you cross its threshold, a chill wraps around you like something ancient has finally noticed your presence. Once a home for the mentally ill and the abandoned, the building still echoes with the weight of suffering that never truly left. Visitors report seeing figures glide past doorways, hearing chairs scrape across empty rooms, and feeling invisible fingers brush against their arms. Doubt creeps in fast. Was that a shadow? Or someone standing just behind you? Why does the air grow colder the deeper you step into the halls? And why do some rooms feel as if they're holding their breath? Dig long enough into its history, and the stories worsen growls from the basement, where the most violent patients were kept. A towering dark figure called the Judge stalking the upper floors, and sudden bursts of emotion that overwhelm even the bravest explorers. Many leave trembling, claiming the manor doesn't want to scare you away. It wants to keep you. So if you ever walk these halls, remember, in Edinburgh Manor, you're not just observing the ghosts, they're observing you, waiting to see how long before your courage cracks. 3. Cresco Theater and Opera House, Cresco. Under the soft glow of its antique marquee, the Cresco Theater and Opera House looks harmless, charming, but step inside after the crowds have gone, and the building reveals a different face. The velvet seats creak as if unseen guests are settling in, and faint footsteps echo across the stage where no actor stands. At first, you tell yourself it's the old building breathing, until the curtains begin to sway without a breeze. Doubt sharpens quickly. Who whispered your name from the balcony? Why did a cold draft sweep past you when every door was locked? Ushers claim a woman in a long gown wanders backstage, humming a tune no one recognizes, while technicians hear applause erupt in an empty auditorium. The deeper you explore, the more the theater feels alive. Lights flicker in deliberate patterns. Shadowy figures peer from upper boxes, and a lingering perfume fills the air before vanishing in an instant. Some say the spirits here aren't angry they're performing, desperate for an audience that never leaves. So when you sit in the dark and feel someone take the empty seat beside you, remember, at Cresco Theater, the show never truly ends, and neither do its ghosts. Tier 4. Franklin Hotel, Strawberry Point. The Franklin Hotel looks peaceful from the street warm lights. Quiet charm, but once you step inside, the air tightens as if the walls are hiding something they don't want you to know. Guests often describe a strange pressure on their chest, a prickle at the back of the neck, and the unsettling sense that someone is walking a step behind them. At first, you blame old pipes, settling floors, imagination, until you hear a woman sobbing softly from an empty hallway, or see a shadow slip into a room that's been locked for decades. Stories grow darker the deeper you dig. A maid who never checked out, a man in a bowler hat lingering near the stairwell, and the notorious fourth floor where lights flicker in perfect rhythm like coded warnings from the other side. Staff whisper about doors that slam with violent force, mirrors that fog over from an unseen breath, and guests who flee in the middle of the night, refusing to explain what they saw. Whatever lingers in the Franklin Hotel isn't shy. It wants to be noticed. So if you ever stay here, remember this. The real danger isn't what appears before your eyes. It's what waits just outside your line of sight, watching, deciding whether you'll be the next story whispered in the dark. 4. Farrar Schoolhouse. Farrar. At the Farrar Schoolhouse, the silence is never truly silent. Step through its doors and you'll feel it immediately, a low, buzzing tension, like the building is holding its breath. Listening, once filled with laughter and footsteps of children, the halls now echo with sounds no living student makes. Visitors hear lockers banging shut on their own, footsteps pacing the upper floors, and the faint giggle of a child drifting from classrooms swallowed in darkness. At first, you brush it off old wood, shifting air, but doubt creeps in fast. When you spot a shadow darting across the gym or feel a small hand tug at your sleeve, when no one stands beside you, dig deeper and the stories sharpen. The tall, dark figure looming near the boiler room. The classroom where desks drag across the floor at night. The stairwell where people hear counting slow, deliberate, as if someone is marking your steps. Those who stay too long report their names whispered from behind. Or the chilling sense of being surrounded by unseen students waiting for a teacher who will never come. So if you ever walk the halls of Farrar, remember this: the school may be abandoned, but class is still very much in session. And the spirits here are always eager for a new attendee. Sick. Independence State Mental Hospital, Independence. They say the screams of the past still linger in the walls of the Independence State Mental Hospital. From the outside, it's a grand old structure towering brick, iron gates, and endless windows staring like hollow eyes into the Iowa fog. But once you cross inside, the air grows heavy, dense with sorrow that time never managed to erase. The halls stretch on forever, lined with peeling paint and rusted gurneys, as if the building itself refuses to let go of what happened here. Visitors speak of sudden chills, muffled cries behind locked doors, and the faint clatter of chains dragging along the floor. At first, you think it's your mind playing tricks until a wheelchair rolls on its own, or you hear someone whisper your name from the empty ward. Rumors tell of cruel treatments, lost patients, and rooms sealed to hide the truth. Paranormal investigators have recorded voices begging for help, and shadows moving in the corners just beyond the beam of a flashlight. Some say the spirits here don't seek peace, they seek witnesses. And when you stand in the dark long enough, you start to feel their eyes, dozens of them, watching from every doorway. So if you ever step inside the Independence State Mental Hospital, ask yourself this: are you exploring a relic of history? Or walking through the memories of souls that never left? Sacre, the Malvern Manor. Malvern. The moment you enter Malvern Manor, the air shifts thick, cold, as though something unseen has stirred awake to watch you. Once a care facility for the sick and the forgotten, the building feels swollen with memories that refuse to die. Footsteps echo through the halls with no source. Doors groan open as if pushed by invisible hands, and a suffocating silence blankets the rooms where patients once cried out for help that never came. You try to rationalize it, old house. Drafty corridors, but doubt slams into you when a shadow glides across a doorway, or the sound of labored breathing rises from an empty bed. Dig deeper, and the stories become unsettling. The shadow man towering in the hallway, a woman known as Gracie whispering from her room, and the overwhelming bursts of emotion that hit visitors without warning: fear, grief, rage, as if the manor is bleeding its history directly into you. Paranormal teams report scratches on their arms, whispers caught on recorders, and figures sprinting across the second floor only to vanish mid-stride. Malvern Manor doesn't just host spirits, it holds on to them. So if you dare walk its winding corridors, remember this: in Malvern, you're not the one exploring the darkness is exploring you, deciding whether you'll walk back out or stay as one of its stories forever. 8. The Granger House Victorian Museum, Marion. Behind its elegant Victorian charm, the Granger House hides a quiet unease that clings to every polished banister and faded portrait. Once home to a respectable 19th century family, its halls now whisper with the weight of unfinished lives. Visitors say the house seems aware. Lights flicker as you pass. Doors close softly behind you, and cold drafts spiral down the staircase as if someone has just walked by. You tell yourself it's old plumbing, the creak of ancient wood, until you hear the unmistakable sound of footsteps pacing overhead. When you know you're alone, those who stay long enough begin to notice patterns: a rocking chair that moves on its own, the faint scent of burning candles in rooms long unused, and a woman's soft humming drifting through the parlor late at night. Some claim she's Mrs. Granger, forever watching over her home, her presence protective yet mournful. Others insist something darker lingers here, something that feeds on the attention of those who dare to notice. Investigators have captured whispers saying, "Get out," shadows that stretch against the grain of the light, and even the chilling imprint of a hand pressed into the dust on a locked window pane. The Granger house doesn't scream for attention, it simply waits. So when you walk through its still, perfect rooms, remember, in this house, the past isn't gone. It's just waiting for you to listen. Rainbow Bridge, Lake City. They call it the Rainbow Bridge, but don't let the name fool you. There's nothing colorful about what lingers there after dark. The bridge arches gracefully over the calm water, a peaceful sight by day. But once the sun dips below the horizon, the air shifts, the crickets fall silent, the wind dies, and suddenly, the night feels too still. Locals whisper about the woman who appears at midnight dressed in white, standing at the edge of the bridge, her face turned toward the black water below. Some say she's searching for her lost child. Others claim she's waiting for anyone brave or foolish enough to meet her gaze. Drivers report headlights flickering, engines stalling, and the chilling sight of a figure walking toward them, only to vanish inches from the hood. Those who stop their cars sometimes hear crying, soft at first, then rising into a scream that echoes through the trees. The brave who linger too long describe handprints appearing on windshields, icy touches brushing their skin, and an overwhelming urge to jump like something whispering from the depths, calling them closer. No one knows who she truly was, or why she remains bound to that lonely crossing. But everyone agrees on one thing: if you ever find yourself driving over the Rainbow Bridge at night, don't look in your rearview mirror. You might see someone sitting in the back seat, smiling through the darkness. To Oakland Cemetery and the Black Angel, Iowa City. In the center of Oakland Cemetery stands a statue locals fear to approach. After midnight, the Black Angel, towering, corroded, and forever watching. By day, she's only unsettling, but by night, she becomes something else entirely. The air tightens around her, cold and heavy, as if the shadows bend toward her feet. Visitors swear they've heard metal groan, like the angel shifting her wings just slightly. Preparing to move, you try to dismiss it as the wind, until you realize the trees are still. Whispers swirl about cursed lovers, grieving families, and sudden deaths tied to those who touch the statue. Some claim the angel's face changes expression when no one is looking, mourning one moment, furious the next. Others have seen a dark figure lurking behind her base, disappearing the instant a flashlight touches it, and the stories only deepen. Footsteps circling the graves, the faint sound of weeping beneath the statue, and a chilling warmth spreading through the ground, as if something buried there still stirs. Those brave enough to stand before her at midnight report the same sensation. A pressure on the chest, a whisper in the ear, and the terrifying certainty that the angel is leaning closer. So if you ever walk through Oakland Cemetery after dark, remember, she doesn't just guard the dead. She watches the living, and once you meet her gaze, she might not let you walk away unchanged. Yeah, it's Currier Hall, University of Iowa, Iowa City. Currier Hall looks like any other residence building, bright lights, student chatter, the hum of campus life. But when the hall's empty and the night settles in, something older than the university begins to stir. Residents whisper about footsteps pacing the corridors long after quiet hours, slow and steady, as if someone is patrolling, searching. Doors rattle without warning. Lights flicker in perfect rhythm. And the elevator has a habit of stopping on the 5th floor even when no one pressed the button. At first, you blame campus legends, sleep deprivation, the usual college fears. But doubt creeps in when you hear someone humming softly from the communal bathroom, only to find it empty. Or when your door swings open in the middle of the night, cold air spilling in like someone just walked through. Students talk about a girl who once lived here lonely, troubled, and how her presence never left. Some see her drifting past their rooms, head bowed, hair dangling as if hiding a face frozen in grief. Others feel her sit at the foot of their bed, the mattress dipping as she whispers their name. Investigators captured shadows darting across the hallway, lockers slamming shut behind them, and a voice on tape repeating one word: stay. Currier Hall isn't violent, but it is persistent, drawing attention, clinging to anyone who listens. So if you ever spend a night here and hear soft knocking on your door at 3 a.m., remember, sometimes the ghosts of Currier aren't trying to scare you. They're trying to come in. 12, the Lexington Apartments, Des Moines. From the outside, the Lexington Apartments look like any other aging brick complex, quiet, unassuming, the kind of place people pass every day without a second glance. But for those who live there, nightfall brings something different. The sense that the building itself is alive, listening, remembering. Tenants whisper about flickering hallway lights that seem to follow their movements, and sudden drafts that smell faintly of old perfume or burning tobacco. Radios turn on by themselves, windows slam shut without warning, and shadows linger just long enough for you to realize they're not yours. It always starts small, a misplaced object, a door that opens on its own, but the unease deepens quickly. Some residents wake to whispers near their beds. Others see a figure pacing outside their door, its reflection clear in the peephole, though nothing's there when they look. The building's past doesn't help. Rumors of a fire that claimed several lives, of a tenant who vanished without a trace, of a basement sealed off decades ago and never reopened. Paranormal investigators describe strange readings from the walls themselves, as if the structure has absorbed the grief of everyone who ever lived and died within it. They call it the breathing building. Those who stay long enough begin to feel it too. The slow pulse in the floorboards, the faint vibration through the pipes, like a heartbeat that isn't yours. So if you ever find yourself inside the Lexington apartments, don't trust the silence. It's not empty. It's waiting. Union Pacific Railroad Museum, Council Bluffs. The Union Pacific Railroad Museum stands proud, a monument to progress, steel and steam. But when the crowds are gone and the lights dim, the air grows heavy with something that doesn't belong to the present. Deep inside its exhibits, the faint scent of coal and smoke lingers, though no engines have run here for decades. Guards tell stories of phantom footsteps echoing across marble floors, display cases rattling as if touched by unseen hands, and the sound of distant trains whistles crying through the night, though no tracks lie nearby. At first, you think it's the mind playing tricks, the residue of history still humming in the walls. But then the air shifts. You feel a rush of cold pass through you, and from somewhere deep within the building, a man's voice calls out hoarse, commanding all aboard. The elevator sometimes opens by itself, waiting for passengers who never come. Security footage has shown figures walking the corridors, lanterns in hand, vanishing just as they pass through the light. Some say the spirits belong to the railroad workers who died building the linemen who never stopped working, still tending to their eternal route. Others believe one particular conductor remains, pacing the museum each night, ensuring every soul is accounted for before departure. So if you visit after dark and hear the low rumble of a train beneath your feet, remember, at the Union Pacific Railroad Museum, the final journey may already be boarding, and you might be next in line for the ride. Fairview Cemetery, Council Bluffs. High on the hill overlooking Council Bluffs, Fairview Cemetery seems peaceful, rows of weathered stones, silent trees swaying in the wind. But once the sun slips behind the horizon, the atmosphere changes, the air turns sharp, colder than the night around it, and an uneasy silence settles over the graves. Locals warn of a presence that wanders among the tombstones, a figure in old-fashioned clothing who appears only when you're already on edge. You might catch him out of the corner of your eye, standing perfectly still, watching, yet he vanishes the moment you look directly at him. At first, you think it's your imagination. Cemeteries play tricks, after all. But then you hear footsteps crunching on the gravel behind you. Slow, deliberate, always stopping when you stop. Some visitors report whispers drifting through the trees, voices speaking names long forgotten. Others have seen lanterns glowing faintly in the distance, soft amber light swaying in the dark, though no one carries them. The deeper you walk, the stronger the feeling of being followed becomes, as if something is matching your pace, waiting for you to acknowledge it. And then there's the lady on the hill, a pale figure said to appear near the oldest graves. She glides rather than walks, her dress flowing without wind, her face hidden beneath shadows. Those who get too close describe a sudden wave of dread, a pull in their chest, and the overwhelming urge to run. If you ever wander into Fairview Cemetery after dark, remember, the dead may rest here, but they do not rest alone. And once they notice you, they rarely let you leave without leaving something behind. Matias Ham House, Dubuque. Perched on a quiet bluff overlooking the Mississippi River, the Matias Ham House looks serene, a beautiful 19th century mansion frozen in time. But beneath its polished wood and ornate chandeliers, something restless stirs. The house has a reputation for elegance by day and unease by night. Visitors report flickering lamps, doors that open with a slow, deliberate creak, and the faint sound of piano music drifting through the halls long after the building has been locked. It's as though the Ham family never truly left. The story goes that Matias Ham, a wealthy river merchant, was murdered here one stormy night, his home forever marked by that final act of violence. Since then, staff have seen his figure pacing near the study windows, his silhouette framed in lightning flashes, watching the river as though guarding his fortune even in death. Guests have felt cold fingers brush their shoulders, heard heavy boots crossing the upper floors, and seen a woman in mourning black standing silently at the top of the staircase before fading into shadow. Sometimes the scent of tobacco fills the air, mingling with the soft echo of footsteps that never quite reach their destination. Paranormal teams have recorded knocks answering their questions and voices whispering, "Leave it be. Gakichichiter." But the most chilling encounter is said to happen near the bedroom where Matias met his end, where, in the silence between heartbeats, visitors hear a single gunshot, followed by a sigh. If you ever visit the Matias Ham house, tread carefully, for in this mansion, the past isn't just remembered, it's reenacted, over and over, waiting for someone new to hear it. And that's just a glimpse of the shadows hiding across Iowa. If these places send a chill down your spine, wait until you see what's coming next. Stories even darker, stranger, and far more dangerous than anything tonight. Before you scroll away, make sure you're here for it. Hit follow, stay with the channel, and let's step deeper into the dark together.